Hey, we're here for another installment of our Bible study series. You can go back on YouTube and watch the other two if you want. I'm not an expert. I did a great Bible study this morning and realized I had not recorded 1 minute of it. So I'm giving it another shot. So I hope the third time's a charm. So here we go. I just want to give a really quick, my goal is to get these shorter and shorter so that you can just dig right in, get a thought for the week, or I'm not doing them every week, I'm doing them every couple times a month, but you can get a good Bible thought and move on. I know you're busy. So this is really going to be my goal of getting it fast. So you ready? Let's do this fast. We've all heard today's challenges. We've all heard people say, judge not lest you be judged. And that's in the Bible, by the way. We're going to look at that. But does that mean we can never discern? We can never evaluate someone's conduct and character? We just got to look the other way. Well, I know they're breaking into my house, but I just can't I'm not supposed to think bad about anybody, so I'm just going to let it go. Of course not. And so what is going on when Jesus said, judge not lest you be judged? Does it mean we cannot evaluate and discern situations and things that are going on, people when they're bad? We can't say that's bad. Does that mean we can't do that? Well, let's check it out. Here's what the Bible says. Matthew 5, 6, and 7 is called the Sermon on the Mount. And within those great teachings of Jesus, and it's Jesus who's saying this, Jesus says, do not judge lest you, King James says, do not judge lest you be judged. But the NIV says, do not judge or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank of your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of our own eye when all the time there's a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye and then you'll see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. I want to talk about this real quick. Let's unpack it. First off, we judge all the time. We judge. I like this restaurant, I don't like this one. I like this athlete, I don't like that one. That person did something horrible, that's evil. Why did they kill that person? It's common sense, right? But what he's talking here is Jesus. Well, let me put you there. Jesus, who can be a judge because he's the Son of God. But he called Herod an old fox. He told the Pharisees and scribes that they were like dead men in tombs. Jesus called it what it was. But we're not Jesus. Okay? But we still can discern and evaluate. The problem becomes when we judge. And the word judge here, it's a Greek word that means critic. And when you define it, it means to censor another with unjust criticism. So let me reread it. Do not censor another with unjust criticism, or you will be censored with unjust criticism. So do not, cut somebody out, mistreat them, be cruel and unkind with an unfair criticism. So if we do that, it's to others, it will happen to us. The Message, which is a modern day translation, says it'll boomerang. And here's the reason why. We are human beings and we are not Jesus. And so most of the time we have improper judgments. We judge things improperly. So we gotta be careful of that. But then when it is clear, something is really bad, we have to be careful because we may not know all the facts. It may still be bad, but what's going on? Why is that person doing that? We're not God, so we may not understand everything that's going on. But even when we do get the facts, we also have to realize that if we're gonna do this, if we're gonna do unfair criticism, well, then unfair criticism is going to come back to us like a boomerang. Again, this is not discerning that somebody robbed a bank and they are a bank robber. This is us doing an unfair criticism, saying, well, I don't like that person because of X, Y, or Z. And we don't know, whatever. It's really about being a hypocrite. Not seeing, he says, you see that little speck in your neighbor's eye, but you got this big plank in your eye. Remove the plank from your eye, and then you'd be able to remove the speck from the other person's eye. Deal with your own problems. Sometimes our own problems are bigger than that. Do we see ourselves right? Are we evaluating ourselves fairly? That's hard business. It's hard to evaluate ourselves. It's hard to judge or discern ourselves, but we better do that if we're going to discern somebody else's. But what we ought to do, and Jesus was good at this, is to look for the potential in other people. Jesus saw Zacchaeus, and what did he do? He said, you come down from that tree. Now, Zacchaeus had been ripping people off. Zacchaeus had been robbing people. He was dishonest. Nobody liked him. And that was fair. That was not an unfair criticism. They were not judging Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus was not being judged. The people that saw him as a criminal were not guilty of sinning in this verse because they could clearly see he was robbing them. But Jesus saw potential in Zacchaeus and saw he could be better than he was and said, come, let's go eat. And Jesus changed his life. So it is okay to have a discernible attitude and see that something is right and something is wrong. It is okay to say that person who committed murder, that's terrible. It's a wicked deed. There's nothing wrong with that. But even then, we're not to hate. Even if they face justice, we're not to hate. We're not to as they say, an eye for an eye, and and we're all blind. We are not God, but we can discern certain things. But the warning here, though, is more of an unfair criticism. We're censoring, we're punishing, we're attacking with an unfair criticism. Maybe we just don't like them. Maybe it's just our opinion. Maybe it's just whatever. Maybe we're just in a bad mood. Maybe we're just being mean-spirited. But we're casting aspersions on somebody, gossiping about, slandering, talking about them, and hurting them unfairly. And the warning is, if you do that, what goes around comes around, and you're going to regret it. In fact, you should look at people and realize you don't know all the facts. You don't know their story. Maybe the clerk was rude to you when you went to Walmart, and you said, well, that person is a mean old snake. And you've judged them as a terrible human being when maybe they were up all night with a sick baby. Maybe they're worried about their husband's health. Who knows? And we've just judged them unfairly. You haven't been in their shoes. You don't know what they're going through. Also, as Christians, we need to be seeing the potential in other people, like I just said, seeing what people are possible of, what they can achieve, if only given the right opportunity, only given the right support and strength. So it's not about discerning right and wrong. It's not about deciding this is right or wrong. It's about not being an unfair, mean-spirited critic of other people. Now, when you post something online, or when you say something to somebody, I've said this many times in a sermon, but there are 3 questions we need to ask, or we're going to be an unfair critic. If we say, well, Derek, I have every right to say this because this is the truth. You've heard people say that. This is the truth. Well, let me say, number 1, is it the truth? If we're going to say something about another human being, if we're going to post something about another human being, is it true? Even if we don't know them. They're a celebrity. They're a politician. They're a king. They're a queen. They're whatever, public figure. But is it true? Is it really true? If we don't have all the facts, if we don't know the whole situation, it may not be true. So we shouldn't post it if we don't know that it's true. Second, is it necessary? It may be true, but is my posting or saying this at the grocery store about the person that I just saw to somebody else, is that necessary? Is that really my job? Should I be doing that? I mean, is there a reason I should be doing that? And then finally, is it kind? It may be true that they did this, that they did that, and that's offensive. And it may be true, but it may not be my job. And even if it is my job, am I saying it in a kind way to help them? Is my goal to build them up and to lift them up and to encourage them and strengthen them? For example, if I have a friend who's gone astray and their life is not where it should be, and it's true, and I also know that if I don't help them, they're going to crash and burn, well, then it's necessary. But then when I go to them, I have to be kind. And I don't attack them. I just say, because I love you and I care about you and because we have a relationship, can we talk about this? And if they let you, yeah. And you do it with love. And you are using discernment and evaluation, but you're not an unfair critic. You're listening to them to hear all the facts, their story, what's going on in their lives. You may find out that you're wrong and you apologize, but you're concerned. That's totally different than going on Facebook, writing a post about somebody and just making all these assumptions and being mean. Jesus wouldn't think that's pretty cool. Not at all. He'd see that as pretty nasty. So that's what I think this text is about. Judge not lest you be judged. Yes, you can make discernments. Yes, you can decide whether things are right or wrong. Yes, you can be on a jury and declare somebody guilty or not guilty if you are called to be a juror in the court system. But it means to not be an unfair, mean-spirited critic. And we know what that is. Nobody has to tell you. All right, I did it in 8 minutes. If I keep at this, I might can get it down to 5 soon. I hope you have a great day, and I hope this Bible lesson was helpful. God bless you.